It's Taj Hotton time. Now, look, it's a VFL-based video, so we won't make it all about Taj Hotton, but we will a little bit of it. But the VFL team had a very, very nice win against the Northern Bullants by 58 points on the weekend, 14-12-96 to 5-8-38. Look, the Bullants are on the lower end of the ladder, it must be said, first and foremost, but you can only play and beat the teams and players who are put in front of you. So good to see us get a win back on the winners list, and we keep our finals hopes alive in it. It's actually a really tight contest in the top part of the ladder. So good to see him back on board with 4 points. But look, we'll go through some of the stats and whatnot shortly, but Taj Hotton, he was probably the main man, the man of the hour for that particular game. He played about 70 to 75% game time, 25 disposals, 4 marks, 3 tackles, 3 clearances, and 1 goal, 3. Really should have probably been 2 goals, 1 at worst. He was a bit dirty on himself, I think, but geez, you can just tell that he is a class above the VFL level. And again, I know that the Bullants aren't the strongest of size, but he's still coming off 12 months out of the game, playing his second game back, and just tore it to shreds like we were always kind of hoping to see, I guess. It's his foot movement, his lateral dancing in and out of traffic when he nearly got that goal deep in the forward line by just sidestepping a few people in a phone box. His link-up play between halfback and half forward, it was good to see him push deep as well and work his way up the ground. It was interesting watching the way he times his run. He's actually, we've said this before, but he's a really, really smart, high IQ footy player. He reads the play really well, and he reads the cues well on when to take off and get forward of the contest. And you could see that just his levels of anticipation and when to go, when to accelerate and get out into the right areas was really on show. Not to mention his disposal was pretty good. I think those behinds actually dent his disposal efficiency, which was a bit annoying. But for the most part, he was very impactful with all of his touches. And look, I know there's a lot of calls to say VFL for another week, and it sounds like that's what we're going to do. But yeah, very much excited to see what he does again this week and beyond. But on to some of the other players who had good games as well. Lockie Street led the way with 29 touches, 6 tackles, 5 clearances, another good game from him. Oliver Hayes-Brown. Now, if you had a bingo card and you had to have Oliver Hayes-Brown as your second highest disposal getter, I'm not sure many of us would have got that one right. But he had 26 disposals, 3 marks, 2 tackles, 36 hitouts, 10 clearances, and 1 goal, 1. He had an absolute field day, did Hayes-Brown. The other ruckman, I think, was a little bit undersized, but again, he can only play who he's up against, and he asserted himself physically. He was shoving the other ruckman out of the contest with ease and getting the job done. You'd love it if he could do this on a weekly basis. We'll see how that goes against the Cats. But he's tracking in the right areas, Hayes-Brown. I'm not against him getting a game later in the year if form permits. Just to give him a taste of it. I'm not expecting him to shoot lights out or anything like that, because it's still probably another year or two in the works. But he's doing okay. He's doing okay. So good to see him get some good possessions. Harry Scott, 24 touches. James Trezise, 22 disposals, 6 marks, 4 tackles, 1 clearance. Another good game from Trezise. He probably had a quieter game the week before, so it was good to see him bounce back this week. Definitely putting his hand up for selection. I'm trying to work out how he fits in. I mean, it may be at the expense of someone like Tyler Sonsie potentially, but then you don't want to play Trezise at half forward and have the same issue where he's playing a role he shouldn't be playing. Essentially, he kind of has to play in the back line or on the wing, which is where he does his best work. So the back line's pretty stable. Not sure if Hugo's on the chopping block at all. Maybe that's a consideration to get Trezise back onto the wing, but he's stringing together some good performances. Tyler Young, 21 disposals, 10 marks, 1 clearance, wait for it, 2 goals. 2 goals to Tyler Young. And they were quite good goals. One of them was about 55 metres out on the run, and the other one was a beautiful set shot, clinically very, very technically correct and sound. And I don't want to be that guy, but with the forward issues that we've got coming up this week against the Cats, with Lafau and Lynch both missing, well, Lynch probably missing, Lafau definitely missing, I'm not against Tyler Young being tried as a forward. Just as a makeshift, let's get through this week. I'm not at all suggesting to be a full-time forward, and I know people won't agree with it, but he was actually a really neat shot for goal. He can take a mark, reads it well. It means you still get to keep Bolter and Blight in defence, or one of them rucking while the other one's defending. And then, utilise maybe someone like Tyler Young. And this is just about, again, having a more mature body. I don't think it's wise to put Jonty Fall, Sims, and Lawler as your three key forwards in their first year, because you've got to remember there's no Samson Ryan still, there's no Liam Fawcett he hurt his foot, so we don't have those two guys to lean back on. People might mention Kazitsky as another name that could come in, but honestly, if we're going to do that, I'm picking Tyler Young ahead of Cozzy to play that role, just because I think he might offer a bit more by way of kicking for goals. So we are going to have to get creative this week, and Tyler Young's done himself some good favours and maybe getting a look in at the other end of the ground. Caleb Smith, 19 disposals, 7 marks, 1 tackle. An okay game from Caleb. It's just really trying to find the level for him, I guess, and where he's going to work best. Morris Rioli Jr., 19 disposals, 3 marks, 8 tackles, and 4 clearances and a goal. The goal he got was a ripper too. I think it was in the first quarter. He burst out the centre, got it to Taj Hotton, who then kicked it to another player in the forward 50. It spilt out, and Morris followed up his good work and was able to run into an open goal. It was really good. Look, even though Morris didn't get the 22 to 25 touches that we're kind of wanting to see as a midfielder, he was actually really impactful again in the game. 8 tackles this week. I think it was 7 or so last week. His pressure around the contest is really good, and it's there for 4 quarters. And his link-up play, particularly with Hotton, actually was quite exciting to watch. Them working the ball out of the back line with a couple of 1-2s and bursting through the middle. I'm liking what I'm seeing, and again, you probably want to see it happen for another couple of weeks before you would try it at AFL level, but he could add a good point of difference in the midfield at AFL level if we're prepared to actually put him into that spot as part of his rotation. And I'm enjoying what I'm seeing. I know a lot have written him off. I think there's still a bit to play out in this space as Morris the midfielder. Small forward, I agree. I think that's done its dash. I don't think it's going to work. Morris the midfielder, though, let's wait and see how that one pans out. Who else from AFL listed? Kazitsky, 10 disposals, 6 marks. Bauer, so he had 8 disposals, 5 marks, and 1 goal, 3. So he's probably another one that will be in contention to come in the lack of Tom Lynch and McKelty Lafau. He's had an okay last couple of games. Prior to that, he was probably a little bit more stinky, if we want to use that term. So he could be a genuine chance as well. Look, maybe it's him and Tyler Young go and play forward, and we still find a way to get Lawler in. Maybe Lawler comes in for Sonsie potentially. So there's a few ways it can all work. Tom Sims only had the 7 disposals. Kicked a goal though, took a nice mark. He had 6 marks, 6 hitouts, 1 clearance. Probably, again, I just don't want to have all these youngsters up forward against the Cats. It's not going to work well. But good to see a few players doing some nice things at VFL level. And Taj Hotton in particular, he's going to be one to watch in the future for sure. And next week for the VFL, we've got Harry Armstrong coming back in. We've got Josh Gibcus playing VFL again, which is awesome. Josh Smiley won't be too far away. I don't think it's this week, but maybe it's in another 2 weeks' time. So the cattle are starting to come back, and we'll start to see some more competition for spots. But that's the VFL report done for the day. Make sure you like and subscribe for more Richmond content, and I'll see you for the next one. Go Tigers.